I'd like to start by saying that I live a pretty straightforward and sober lifestyle. So I know for a fact that what I experienced last New Year's Eve wasn't some hallucination or the result of being intoxicated. It was completely real. I live on the outskirts of a typical small southern town, and some of my friends live even farther out in the countryside, only reachable by those long, dark back roads. One of my closest friends, Darren, lives in an upscale neighborhood that can only be accessed through these rural roads. Every year, his family hosts a big New Year's Eve party, inviting friends and family, including me. It's always a great time, and I look forward to receiving the formal invitation in the mail from Darren's parents. Winters in the South can be unpredictable, and that year, it only got truly cold a few days before New Year's Eve. I clearly remember the biting air and the rough, neglected country roads, making the drive a bit uncomfortable. I typically avoid using my high beams, as I hate getting blinded by other drivers. But the pitch-black winding roads left me no choice this time. The road was flanked on both sides by dense trees, making visibility poor despite my headlights. There were no houses between the turnoff and Darren's neighborhood, except for a lone shack that appeared abandoned, though I had occasionally seen lights on inside when passing by. A few minutes into my drive, on a particularly straight stretch of the road, my headlights picked up something white against the darkness. As I got closer, I realized it was a figure, a person standing completely still at the edge of the road, facing the trees. It was a woman, dressed in a white gown or dress, definitely not appropriate for the cold weather. I kept my high beams on out of caution, making it difficult to distinguish any detailed features due to the reflective glare of her dress. As I drove past her, I silently thanked my luck that she hadn't stepped into the road, forcing me to stop. But then a thought crossed my mind. Should I have stopped to check if she needed help? Maybe she was another guest on her way to Darren's party. My curiosity turned into fear when I glanced at my rearview mirror and saw, illuminated by my taillights, that the woman had turned toward my car. She hadn't moved. She just stood there, staring as I drove away. A chill ran down my spine. There was no way she was a fellow party guest. I reached the party without further incident, arriving around 8 p.m. The celebration lasted well past midnight, with guests slowly leaving after watching both the New York ball drop and our own countdown. Being close with Darren's family, I stayed behind to help clean up. By the time I left, my car was the only one still parked outside the house. As I started my car, a warning light popped up. Low tire pressure. My car was old and didn't specify which tire was affected, but I reassured myself that it was just the cold weather playing tricks on the tires, as it usually did when temperatures suddenly dropped. Then, I remembered the woman from earlier. Was she still out there? Had anyone else seen her? There was another route home, but it was 20 minutes longer, and I didn't want to risk running into drunk drivers on the highway. So, despite my unease, I decided to take the same dark road back. I regret that decision. Not long after I set off, I noticed something was wrong with my tires. I could hear a scraping sound, bare metal against asphalt. Then, my car came to a complete stop. My heart sank. Had my tires just fallen apart? Against my better judgment, I stepped out to check, turning off the engine and shutting the door behind me. The car's automatic lights went out, plunging me into darkness. I used my phone flashlight to examine each tire, and what I saw made my stomach drop. Every single tire had been shredded, ripped apart as if by claws. There was no way this was just an unfortunate coincidence. Someone had done this deliberately. As I stood there trying to process the situation, an eerie silence fell around me. The wind stopped, the trees went still, and even the faint sounds of wildlife disappeared. It was a silence that felt unnatural. Then, a twig snapped in the woods. I turned off my flashlight instantly. Something was moving out there. Leaves rustled as if something or someone was stalking me. A predator's silence. Then, from the darkness, a soft, quiet voice spoke. "I see you." I couldn't breathe. I couldn't move. It was a woman's voice, gentle, almost playful. Then, she spoke again. "Can you see me?" Panic set in. My fight-or-flight response kicked in, but in the darkness, I was disoriented. I had to turn my phone light back on to figure out which way to run. The beam of light cut through the night, and there she was. The woman in the white gown stood just at the edge of the tree line. This time, I could see her clearly. Her dress was filthy, covered in dark stains, She was unnaturally thin, her skin pale as death. Long, tangled gray hair hung past her elbows. But it was her face that truly horrified me. It was grotesque. Half her jaw was missing, yet she still seemed to be grinning. I didn't hesitate. I turned and ran as fast as I could back toward Darren's house. Behind me, I could hear twigs snapping, leaves rustling. She was chasing me, but the sheer terror and adrenaline gave me speed. I didn't stop until I reached Darren's front door, pounding desperately. His mother answered, startled by my panic, and quickly let me inside. I told them everything. Darren's father immediately called the police, and they let me stay the night while waiting for a tow truck. I thought the nightmare was over, but at 3:14 a.m., I woke up to a light tapping on the second-story window. I froze. Then, I heard it. "I see you." The same voice. She had followed me. By morning, she was gone. But Darren's father found a rusty knife outside, near where I heard her voice. It didn't belong to anyone in the house. The police investigated the shack I had passed earlier and found it abandoned, but the surrounding woods were littered with the remains of gutted animals. The woman was never found. And the scariest part? How did she follow me so quickly? And if half her jaw was missing, how could she speak so clearly?